As France gears up for its crucial legislative elections, political analysts are closely monitoring the evolving landscape. The National Rally, a right-wing populist party, is poised to become a significant force in the French National Assembly.
The poll numbers and what you just told us,
Dr.
like Macron's
Mver,
gamble is
a political
not
science
paying
lecturer
off.
at the
Is there
University
any
of West
way
Scotland,
you can turn this around
provided
between now
in-depth analysis
and the 30th
during an
of June
interview
or
with
indeed
France,
the 7th of
24
July if
from
he even
Glasgow.
gets into the second round?
Dr. Mver highlighted that the National Rally is currently polling at approximately 33%, with projections indicating they could secure between 235 and 259 seats in the National Assembly, marking a significant shift in the French political landscape. Meanwhile, the coalition of left-wing parties, known as the Popular National Front, is expected to secure around 30% of the seats, positioning them as the second largest bloc. President Macron's ensemble, a coalition of centrist and right-wing parties, is projected to garner only 18 to 19% of the seats, a considerable setback from their previous standing. The Republicans, plagued by internal strife, are predicted to receive just 5 to 7% of the vote, making any significant improvement unlikely. Dr. Mver emphasized that Macron's primary challenge now lies in mobilizing his electorate. The recent European elections demonstrated a significant mobilization of voters, a trend Macron hopes to replicate to retain his seats in the National Assembly. Macron's strategy hinges on countering voter apathy, which has been a growing issue. Projections for the upcoming legislative elections suggest a potential increase in voter turnout to 63%, crucial for centrist and left-wing parties aiming to neutralize the National Rally's momentum. As the campaign progresses, Macron's Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, has been seen campaigning vigorously. However, Attal often cuts a lonely figure, with Macron's presidency increasingly perceived as a liability rather than an asset.
If you don't need anything, call Jordan Bardella. Excuse me, but when one has the possibility to be Prime Minister, govern the country, it's explicitly because the conditions are difficult that you have to go and get involved. I've had the honor to be Prime Minister for the past 5 months in an extraordinarily difficult time with the war back in Europe. The climate challenge, geopolitical upheavals and challenges, the introduction of artificial intelligence, with obviously important difficulties, and with a relative majority. But I never thought for a second it's too complicated. There's a relative majority. I'm not going to get involved. It shows one thing, that the National Rally is a party of opposition. It's not a party of government.
The economic discourse has dominated the campaign, with both the left and the right criticizing Macron's economic policies. Macron has retaliated, labeling his opponents as irresponsible regarding the French economy.
I respect our fellow citizens who made that choice. They expressed an anger. They would have said Macron hasn't listened once again. That's what's dangerous for this country. That would have been the irresponsible thing to do, to say they'd expressed anger, but we're going to carry on as if nothing had happened because it's what the system wants. You're right, while 2/3 of the French understand very well the dissolution of Parliament, and this decision that I made, the vast majority of the political system doesn't like it.
Internationally, Macron's leadership is viewed as weak, particularly due to his reliance on Article 49.3 of the French Constitution to pass legislation without a National Assembly vote, a method that has not bolstered his popularity. France's international business partners and allies are wary of the potential rise of the National Rally. Their promises, particularly regarding purchasing power and immigration, are viewed with skepticism. Should the National Rally secure the largest share of seats, they will face significant challenges in translating their campaign promises into actionable policies. Among France's small business community, there's a palpable sense of frustration and disillusionment toward President Emmanuel Macron's leadership, owing to rising operating costs under his government's policies. Small business owners voiced deep disappointment with Macron's economic policies and decisions, reflecting a mix of skepticism and concern as they discuss the upcoming elections. Jordan Bardella, the leader of the National Rally since 2022, achieved a staggering 30% of the vote in the European elections, overshadowing Macron's Liberal Party. He continues to hammer Macron on various issues, including the Russia-Ukraine war, and Macron's stand of sending Western troops into Ukraine shouldn't be ruled out. Bardella said that he supported sending continued French supplies of weaponry, ammunition, and other military equipment and support to Ukraine to enable Ukraine to protect itself, but that he was also wary of the risk of any direct escalation with Russia, noting that it is nuclear-armed like France.
There are red lines that the President of the Republic has crossed, and which I will not cross tomorrow as Prime Minister of a cohabitation. I am opposed, unlike the President of the Republic, to sending troops and sending French soldiers to Ukraine, because I believe that first of all, a majority of French people are opposed to this decision. Ukraine itself, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hasn't called for the sending of French troops to Ukraine, and that could have dramatic consequences for peace, world peace. I refuse for France to be drawn directly into a conflict with a nuclear power, which could have dramatic consequences for world peace and the stability of the region.
Bardella's Eurosceptic anti-immigration party, and particularly its former presidential candidate Marine Le Pen, is known for its close ties to Russia. Marine Le Pen, a central figure of France's far right, has her sights set on the presidency in 2027, after losing to Macron in the past 2 elections. Some analysts believe her strategy is to win an absolute majority in the upcoming elections, forcing an early presidential election.
We are ready to exercise power if the French people place their trust in us in these future legislative elections. We're ready to turn the country around, ready to defend the interests of the French, ready to put an end to mass immigration, ready to make the purchasing power of the French a priority. We're ready to start the reindustrialization of the country. In short, we're ready to turn the country around, ready to revive France.
The parliamentary elections, set to conclude on July 7th, promise to deliver a decisive answer to whether France will continue its shift to the far right or rally against it.